Howdy there, folks. How are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and don't call this a comeback. I'm just finishing what I started. And what does that mean? Well, if you're watching this in the year 2029 and you've just sort of happened upon this archive of a channel that's covered in cobwebs and hasn't been uploaded to in ages, and you're trying to figure out, well, what's going on? I've just started watching this old series as part of my history project. I'm working on Let's Plays of the early 2020s, or late. No, yeah, I started this in 2020. That's right. For a moment, I couldn't remember. I'm several episodes in now, and this fellow, he's so confused. He's talking like he hasn't uploaded in a very long time between the last episode and this episode. Well, my friends, that's because I have not uploaded in a very long time between last episode and this one. I announced on my channel that I was going to be taking an extended leave from YouTube, and during that extended leave from YouTube, I decided that I don't really want to be a YouTuber anymore. It's not all I dreamt it would be, and it's been quite, I think it's had a very negative influence on my mental health because of the way that I think that I approached it and the way that I pursued it. And I don't want to particularly get into details here today. One thing I did say, though, when I announced my leave, my break, was that I wanted to come back and finish this series. Because I hate leaving things unfinished. I hate leaving things unsaid or unspoken. But in particular, I hate leaving YouTube series unfinished. When I initially announced, way back in 2014 or 15, I had an April Fool's prank where I said, I'm leaving YouTube. That time it was a joke. This most recent time it was not. So I can completely understand why some people were a little dubious to my claims, saying things along the line of, April Fool's? ? I wouldn't do the same April Fool's joke. Well, I might. The ASMR April Fool's prank was one of my favorites, although it was a bit concerning the number of people who said, no, actually, I liked watching you do ASMR content while playing. What was I playing? That game where you're Overwatch. That's the one. People enjoyed that. I was like, well, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing then. Maybe I should just be making ASMR content full time. Maybe that's where my true talents lie. Is in the art of whispering in such a way that makes you feel like you want to take a nap. Maybe I should have just kept doing that. But no, when I announced my April Fool's prank, where I was leaving YouTube way back in the day, I went back and I finished Portal. And that's because Portal was the first series we ever did on this channel, sort of. And I never finished the game, and I didn't want to leave anything undone. And, well, now for realsies, I don't want to leave anything undone, so I'm back here. I'm trying to clean this area up, because when I logged in to record, I was immediately jumped by 3 or 4 creepers who just kind of came down off of this embankment here, and they jumped me, and they got me, and it was quite a shocking surprise, so I want to kind of clean up the area around the door a bit, so that maybe that won't happen again, or at least I'll be able to see, even though, we're not going to be living here for long, because we're supposed to move into a volcano, I think. Is that right? Pigoo? Yeah, you. I think that's what we're going to be doing. It's been a while since I've logged in here. I guess the end goal for the series is to get to the moon, and then I can put a rubber stamp on it and say finished. Or I suppose all I had to do was record one video where Iroth blew the place up, and then I could say, oh, well, the series finished. Wouldn't be the first time. Although I can't really control what Iroth does. Iroth is his own man, and he makes his own decisions. Sometimes there's giant holes in the world. Sometimes Raymond Card shows up. Oh, no. Weren't there creatures? Didn't I had chickens. Where did the chickens go? I put them in the... Oh, dear. Okay, well, we can get rid of this. It's a bit of an eyesore on my otherwise nice beach. But we've come back to finish this. I was actually looking over the channel, and I realized there's one other series that I've never finished. Orcs Must Die 2. But... I don't want to play that. It was a fine enough game. I had trouble getting through it because I don't think it was properly optimized for single player. It's kind of a 2-player game. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back in 2030 and I'll be like, okay, time to finish what I started again, and then we'll do Orcs Must Die. That could be a good time. Orcs Must Die 2. But Portal, I was saying, was my first series. First gaming series. I guess I didn't really have a series before then. My history in YouTube is not that interesting. It's not that complex. I think the channel was created in 2010, as many of you will know. And over the course of about 3 months in 2010, I made, I think, 3 vlogs, just sort of lifestyle, chatting about technology and things I was interested in style vlogs. And in the course of 3 months, I made those, I released those. They got a whopping 0 views, and then I deleted them. And the channel lay dormant for like a year. And then I was like, well, I've got this channel with nothing on it. I suppose I should go ahead and make something. We made gaming video. Well, no, actually, so me and my friend, many of you will know as Legacy Rage, we decided to make the Legacy Cub channel, which sadly no longer exists. And I have a history. I have a history of making bad decisions. I should hold on to these things. That's something that I've learned over the years. This channel will forever endure until YouTube takes it down. But don't worry, I've got all the videos archived, so no big deal. But yeah, Legacy Cub was created, and we started doing gaming videos, and then Legacy Rage got busy with school, so I decided to make my own content on a channel that I already had that was lying empty and dormant, and now here we are all that time later. Can you tell that I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't remember where we left off or what I was trying to get accomplished last time. That's what happens when you take half a year off from YouTube and then you decide, I need to finish this thing. You know, when my grandkids say, what did you do for fun back in the 2010s, Grandpappy? And I say, oh, we used to make the old YouTubes. And they, oh, we're gonna look that up. Oh, we found it. You didn't finish it, Grandpappy. All those times you told us to finish the meals on our plates, and you couldn't even finish a single Minecraft series. To be clear, I've finished several. This is just the one. But you know how kids are. You know how they'll get. They'll get real down in particular with it. Be like, you didn't finish this one, so you didn't finish any of them. Why is it so dark? Oh my gosh. It might not be that dark for y'all. I'm using a complete... No, it's on brightness. My recording setup is entirely different. I can't see anything. Starting about right in here, I can't see any of that. All of that is just pitch black. There is just nothing in that space for me. Yeah, I don't have the same recording setup anymore, which is probably, now might be a good moment to say, hey, how does this sound? And if it's not good, let me know. Because... Are we out of juice? No, this is a pulverizer. Oh, come on now. That's pretty funny, you gotta admit. I don't think we need all of that in there, but maybe, put like that much in there. That'll be fine. Yeah, I'll get the juice flowing again. Was there organization going on here? There's something there. There's something happening there. And, oh, okay, I put a bunch of wood in here, I guess, to make more charcoal. All right. Yeah, it's all making sense. We got tons of material in here to work with. Wasn't I... You know what? I have a vague recollection now. Wasn't I trying to find some marble, maybe? Is that what this is for? Is that what this is doing? What are you doing? Are you doing anything right now? It doesn't look like it. I wonder if this died. Yeah, okay. Yeah, my entire... For those of you who are not familiar... for the longest time on this channel, I had a Mac, and that was the only thing that I had. I didn't have any other computers. I had just an iMac, and so all of my earliest videos, Portal, a lot of the early Minecraft stuff, all the way up to, I think, Tekkit Classic might have been, maybe even early on in Tekkit Classic, Orcs Must Die, the entire first run of Orcs Must Die. All of that was recorded with an iMac, and Orcs Must Die, I had to get a Windows VM running, and it ran surprisingly well, even though I genuinely, I'm not joking here, I didn't know what resolution was at the time. I remember opening up Orcs Must Die, and I thought, well, this looks pretty crap. What can I do to make it look better? And there was a resolution section, and I did not know what it did. All I knew was that every time I went up to another resolution, it looked a little sharper and a little clearer, and the highest one was 1080p, because that was my monitor's resolution, obviously. And I picked that one, and I thought, wow, that looks great, and it actually fills the screen now, because before it was in like a 16:10 mode for some reason. VMs be weird like that. And I was just like, yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. we'll record that. But for some reason, there was one level, and I'm still not sure what it was. There was one level in Orcs Must Die that running in a VM while using ScreenFlow, I believe, to record on my Mac, one level didn't run very smoothly, and I don't know why. Probably some sort of physics or particle effects on there that my Mac at the time just couldn't handle. But if you go back and watch that footage now, it is real gross. It's real chappy, and it doesn't look good. I'm going to take a quick nap here. Yeah, there we go. Feeling much better. Should be full daylight outside now. It definitely isn't good-looking content. If you go back and you look at that Orcs Must Die stuff, it is not pretty in the least. So let me swap that out there. We'll get some more wood cooking. And can we do this? And then can we split that in two and do that? Oh, it's still pulling down the... That's dumb. Is it because there's this in here? Aha. Aha. Well, it didn't work at all the way I had hoped it would. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's real choppy, and that's just because, running a Windows VM on a computer while recording that has, 4 cores and half a gig of video memory, 512 megs of video memory. I'm not joking. That's what it had. And you know what? It was enough. I played that computer uphill in the snow both ways, and you never heard me complain about it. It just it didn't look good. But that was how I started, and then I built a gaming PC. And I took a hot tip from a fella named C. Nanners. Love C. Nanners. What a champ. What a hero of the people. I got DX Story as my recording software on that PC. I remember building it. I've still got some of the components. Some of them I've sold. Like, I have the motherboard, the RAM, and the CPU. So it was a Intel... It was early 2013, so it was before Haswell came out. So it was a 3770K, which was... And actually, still is a pretty decent CPU. But at the time, it was like, choice gaming CPU, friend. And so I had that, and then it had 16 gigs of RAM, SSD boot drive, hard drive, I think 1 terabyte just sort of spitting rust drive, and it had an NVIDIA 670 from Gigabyte. It was the WindForce edition. Another embarrassing thing that I can admit now to all of you, I didn't know what the GPU actually was. Like, I knew the entire name. I had the entire name memorized, but I didn't know what part of the name signified what it was, if you know what I mean. Like, people would ask, what CPU did you get? Or what GPU would you get? And I said, I got the Gigabyte NVIDIA GeForce GTX 670 WindForce Edition OC. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. I know all of those details are correct. I'm not sure if they are in that order, and I actually don't know if it was an OC. But, I knew that information, and anytime anyone would ask me what the computer was, I would just rattle all of that off. And I was like, hopefully what they're asking me is one of those things, because I don't know which one in particular describes what my graphics card is. But that was in 2013 when I built my first gaming PC. And using CNA's tip, I used DX Story to record all of my gameplay. And that was another thing back then. It's surprising the sorts of things you just pick up and you learn. I'm actually very well versed on all of this now, but at the time I didn't know any of it. I didn't understand any of the settings in DX Story. I found a setup guide from some guy, and I just did step by step the exact same setup he had. And I saved that video to like a playlist of helpful tips so that if anything ever happened to it, I could go back into that playlist and be like, all right, I've got to duplicate these settings exactly because I didn't know what any of them did. And it was quite a while. Well, no, it wasn't. It was maybe a year or two after that I actually started to learn about what all of these different... Like, I learned what an H.264 was. I've wrapped my head around that little mystery. And from that point forward, I could figure out how to set things up. I actually set up my own... Oh, yeah, okay, that works. Maybe that's why this is here. Oh, I remember now. I did this after last episode, and I was supposed to talk about it this episode. That was like 4 or 5 months ago. I put this here so I could put all of the saplings in there, and then it would use the saplings as a fuel source, and they would automatically get dumped into here. And they get burned up real quick, but what else are you going to do with all these saplings? I'm not replanting trees. What do I look like? Some sort of treeologist? I don't know what the person who plants trees is. I know what a herbivore is. That's something that eats plants. An ornivore is someone who researches birds. Ornithology? Ornithologist. That's the one. And an ornivore eats ornithologists. It's a dangerous job. The ornithors are going to get you out there when you're looking at the birds. You got to keep your back to another ornithologist, or the ornivore will sleep in there, and they sleep. Yeah, they'll go to sleep between you and then absorb your flesh. So I used DX Story until I played Assassin's Creed 4. And the first episode of that series, you can go back and watch it. I'm having all of this, a big influx of memories and remember wins. The first episode of that series has some really, really horrible choppiness that I couldn't get rid of with DX Story, and I finally started using Shadowplay. Shadowplay, when it first came out, kind of sucked, but it's gotten better. I don't know if you can do separate audio channels for game audio and voice now. One would hope so. At that time, you couldn't, so I recorded my mic with Audacity. But I switched over to that and used that for a while, and then got sick of it occasionally recording the wrong thing, because it would do that. When you recorded Minecraft, it wouldn't do window or game capture. You had to do just an entire screen capture. So sometimes it would just decide to capture the wrong screen with no indication. Hopefully that's been fixed too. I don't know. I don't use Shadowplay anymore. You can get all the benefits of Shadowplay in OBS by just selecting NVENC as your encoder. And so in 2017, right before the release of Assassin's Creed Origins, or right after, or right around, or during, sometime in there, I built the second PC. So I had a capture PC and a gaming PC with a capture card. The two were separate, and it's been the best. It's my favorite way to do things, because it leaves, if you need to make adjustments on the fly to your capture, or maybe you're streaming, tabbing out is a pain. Some games don't respond well to it. And even if you have a dual screen setup like I had at the time, even if you left the game open and you just kind of alt-tabbed out to do something, it was messy, and it didn't always work right. So the dual PC setup was one that I learned to love and appreciate over the years, and I no longer have it, because when I decided I'm not going to be doing YouTube anymore, I began the process of dismantling the empire, and sold off a lot of the old recording gear. So the capture PC no longer exists as a PC. It exists as a series of parts all over the place. Different people getting different parts and using them for different things. And when I sat down to record this, I was like, I guess I could use Shadowplay. But then one piece of equipment that I did still have was this quad HDMI capture card that I'd bought from a little company, maybe you heard of them, Blackmagic. Blackmagic made a quad HDMI 4K 60 capture card. So 4 HDMI inputs, each one capable of simultaneously receiving a 4K 60 hertz signal, recording 4K 60 hertz video streams. Sounded incredible. Plugged it into my capture PC. This was about a year ago now, and it never worked a gosh darn day in its existence, except for one camera, and then for another camera once I got an adapter for it that forced the frame rate to be what it's supposed to be. Anyway, this thing has no settings, right? You can't configure what you want the input on this capture card to be. It's supposed to be automatic, but sometimes it just doesn't read the signal correctly and it won't give you anything. And I tried constantly. Every time there's an update to the software, I downloaded the update. Every time there was a firmware update, I installed the firmware update. Had it in the PC running Windows 10. It never worked a gosh darn day in the entire existence of that gaming PC. Just never functioned. And then, on a whim, I still had it sitting around because I hadn't sold it off yet. And I looked at it and I said, I wonder. And it's a PCIe card, plugged it into the Mac, and it just immediately worked. I plugged in the gaming PC and it's like, this is a 4K 60 hertz RGB signal. It's like, yeah, well, yes, it is. It's like, I'll send that over to OBS. And OBS is like, well, I see 4K 60. And I did a test recording, and I did some pixel peeping, and I counted the frames. I was like, oh my gosh. So, for whatever reason, this capture card by Blackmagic that they are selling, it's not a particularly cheap capture card either. Although I did see that AverMedia came out with a PCIe capture card with 2 inputs, which is pretty cool. But I wouldn't buy a capture card right now until some HDMI 2.1 cards come out that can do 4K 120 or 8K 60. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to hold out on that. But maybe that one does. I don't know. I just saw that it had 2 inputs. This one has 4, so it's better in every regard, even though I don't need 4 anymore, because what am I capturing? I'm capturing my gaming PC. Anyway, this thing that I bought that had PC support never actually worked on PC, but the second I plugged it into the Mac, it started working instantly without a hitch, and that's frustrating. It's frustrating, but I don't know, maybe I should have... So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, we're capturing to a Mac. We've gone back from, we had the one Mac, and then we had a Mac and a PC, and then we had a Mac and 2 PCs, because I still edit on Mac. I prefer to use Final Cut Pro. Now we're down to a gaming PC and a Mac Pro, and it's with just got a PCIe card plugged in there. And so what I'm trying to say is, hopefully it looks good. Hopefully it sounds good. I've got the same audio equipment. So I assume pulled it out and dusted it off, and I was like, I hope all these dials are set the way I had them originally, because I should have taken a picture of it. I think I did somewhere, but I spent a long time sitting next to... Sorry about that, had to take a nap. Spent a long time sitting next to my voice audio channel. I think it's called Voice Art Voice channel. That's it. That's the one. Spent a long time sitting next to it, very slowly dialing in the exact settings I wanted for my voice, and like doing a test recording and listening back to it and being like, no, let's lower the bass. My voice is too naturally deep. It's going to make a lot of people feel inferior. I can't have that. I can't have people, feeling the second to me. Well, I mean, more than they already will, just by virtue of me being what I am and who I am. That was a bit of banter. That was a bit of a joke, not meant to be taken seriously. But I did spend a long time getting those settings set up exactly the way I wanted them. And then when I got them exactly the way that I wanted them, I took a picture of it, and I don't know where that picture is, but hopefully I can track it down. And because if it doesn't sound right, I'm going to have to either once again sit down and slowly adjust the mids, the highs, the lows, the cutoff of the compressor, the de-esser, all of that to get it back to where I want it. Probably won't be the same. It'll be whatever my ears are listening for now. Be a new sound. That's what we're looking for out there, is a new sound. That new sound you're looking for? Well, how about this? That's a reference to a film. And yeah, I feel like I'm just talking a lot, aren't I? But yeah, so hopefully it all looks good. It all sounds good. Had a lot of trouble. The Mac's got an 8-core processor with 16 threads and dual Radeon 7s, yeah? So you'd think that's a pretty chunky machine, should be able to handle this, but I actually had some trouble getting it set up to work the way that I wanted it to work. And what is this? Oh, it's this stupid backpack that I hate. What is this? Hardened storage. Oh, didn't we determine I could break this and take it with me? That'd probably be better than using this stupid thing. I hate this thing. This thing is dumb. It's useless. Throw all of this in there. We need to go find marble. Has this thing found any marble? I want to have marble flooring. That's the most important thing. Before we end this series, we got to have marble flooring in the volcano. And that's... I'll build the marble flooring in the volcano, and then we'll cheat in a rocket, and that'll be it. We'll call it a day. Sound good to everyone at home? Sounds good to me. Oh, good. See, these are materials I would prefer to build tools out of. So happy that I realized early on that they were in there. Oh, wait just a minute. That was a joke. A little bit of a gag. Because I didn't. I'm sure y'all figured that out, though. Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, incredible. Absolutely. Oh, look at... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Can we get, like, a chest upgrade? I guess that's what I was looking for last time. There's a lot of... I'm not going to make that joke. I had a chest upgrade joke, but I'm going to keep that one to myself. Anyway, it's 8-core, 16 threads. It's got dual Radeon 7s because they're not great for gaming, but my gosh. Computational, kind of workload, video rendering stuff, absolutely baller GPUs. And yet, because of... I guess just software limitations of Mac OS, you don't have a lot of options in OBS. But I eventually found if you did an FFmpeg custom setup, you could choose the work box or something like that. It's sort of a hook that lets OBS get into the encoders and the GPUs. And it seems to be working all right. I guess. I hope it looks okay. I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look like there's been any dropped frames. Maybe I should scoot forward and make sure because the screen's really small. Oh, 62? There's been 62 dropped frames this entire video, and that's out of like many thousands. So I guess that's not too bad. I might have to fine tune it. I didn't do a whole lot of testing for this because I didn't think that Minecraft would be all that particularly difficult to render. But then now that I think about it, well, no, okay, so faster games with more action and more stuff updating on the screen every second, like the more changes from frame to frame, the more work is put on the encoder. So Minecraft doesn't really have that. Chess has less of it, and then something like Overwatch would have a lot more of it, because you're hopping around, you're shooting things, and there's lights going all over the place. I thought about recording to H.265, but I'm not sure how that edits right now in Final Cut. I can check. I know there's support for it, but I don't know if it's like a heavier codec at the moment. And then uploading it to YouTube is apparently, like, it'll work, but YouTube expects H.264, and if you upload H.265, it takes a little bit longer to re-encode, because they encode everything to VP9. Even if I could encode to VP9 and upload it, they would still re-encode it to VP9, but with their own custom settings. So, anyway, what am I looking for? Like a sleeping bag or something? Like a mobile bed? Something I can sleep in on the go? What is this? Laser drill. Yeah, that's what we want right there. That's the ticket. Lol. We'll just... Oh, wait, no. If we take that bed with us and we die, we will not respawn here. We will respawn somewhere else. So we'll build our own bed. And then... I mean, I haven't really thought this through that far. You know, you ever done that? You ever just, you just like, and then profits? That's where we're at right now. We're at the profit stage of this entire operation. You might be wondering why I'm not crafting in this backpack. It's because that backpack sucks and I hate it. There's one thing I remember from this series is that backpack sucks. We should be able to dig a little hole in the ground and take a nap and pass the night away. We're going to pass the night away. You make me feel like sleeping. My theory is that there's no marble in the jungle. We know marble's in the game because we looked it up. We know it exists. There's just none here. So we got to find some marble someplace else. Where are we going to go find some marble? First things first, we're going to make ourselves a boat. And then we're going to go that way. Because we haven't gone that way before. We've gone like all that way. I remember going to a forested land and there being some cool stuff out there. Oh my gosh, we're going to get this kitten. Come here, kitten! Kitten chops are what's for dinner. Oh, there's a boat already out there. Well, good. We'll put this one on hold. And also, we'll put this expedition on hold. Because I think we've probably been going long enough. Again, the monitor is so far away, I can't quite see. But it looks like it says 20-something minutes. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to keep doing this until we get to the moon. And I don't know, we'll find some random things to talk about. Maybe we'll continue with discussing technical things like we did in this episode and the next one. Hey, until next time, thank you folks for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you later. Bye!